Misfit Stoned on Instagram wants to know, how did you beat Usyk in the amateurs?
Man, amazing fight. So myself and Keith Thurman, along with a few other, it was 11 guys on the team. I don't remember who else was there. We had the Ukraine come over for a USA versus Ukraine duel, and that was in right outside of Chicago. I don't remember the exact city, but right outside of Chicago. And Keith was 152. I was 165. So you imagine I think we had 101, 106, 112, 118, 125. I mean, everybody's coming back to the locker room and they coming back losing. You know what I mean? So me and Keith, we in the locker room, we getting warmed up and all that. And we looked at each other almost like the Bash brothers from
Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks. Yeah. We looked at each other and was like, yo, I ain't going home with a loss. You know what I mean? So he went out there. He did his thing. I go out there against Usyk. He's tall, 165, southpaw. And back then I'll tell the story exactly how we fought on the point system. And you had to 3 out of 5 judges had to push a point within 1 second in order for you to get a point for the fight. So the first round, I was winning by like maybe 2 points. The second round, I think the second round was tied. And then going into the third round, I was up by 1 point. Going into the third round, the other assistant coach that we had, just before I got off the stool, he said, hey, Shawn, he grabbed my foot. He says, man, if you line this dude up and catch him with the right hand, you going to get him. And this final round, we were doing 4 2-minute rounds. I got to tell it all like it is.
Yeah.
Back then, we were doing 4 2-minute rounds. So this was the fourth round, 2 minutes. And like less than a minute into that round, I caught him with a right hand. And the right hand, he didn't stumble back, but he definitely took a couple steps back, enough for me to know that he was hurt. And I did Shawn Porter, just jumped on him, and I kept boxing, kept doing my thing. And I ended up winning the fight by 4 points. I ended up winning the fight by like 4 points. And I remember that when my hand was raised, we're getting points after each round, and it was a close fight all the way to the end. And I remember thinking to myself, I earned that win. That wasn't a fight where I just got a victory because he came over to the US. Like, I actually earned that win, you know?
What's good, family? So mash the like button and subscribe. Oh no. So we just heard there from your mans, Shawn, welterweight Porter. Oh man. Number 1, Team Usyk fans, Team Oleksandr Usyk are down super duper bad right now. And can you man believe it's your man the YB who is the Don, who exposes what you just heard just there? Can you believe that? Yeah, how long's it been? This fight's been announced. AJ versus Usyk has been announced for 2-3 months or however long it's been. In fact, it's been on the cards for 6 months. For 6 months, AJ versus Usyk has been on the card. And guess what? Not one Don, not Eddie Hearn, not Team AJ, no one, not even a bit of anyone has brought you, man, the exclusive info. Why? I'll tell you why. Because what did I tell you a few weeks ago? I told you, listen, your man Usyk, he down big. He down big with a mafiosi, Ukrainian mafiosi dons, and MTK. They were working together in a big cabal. That's how they are working. And they're suppressing information. I told you this already. You thought it was a coincidence that Joe Joyce was ordered to fight Usyk back in January, and he said absolutely nothing about it. We've heard Joe Joyce and his team spout up about fighting AJ more than fighting Usyk, which was ordered 8 months ago. Oops. Oh, what, and you thought that was just how things go? Oh, yeah, well, the thing is, no, that's not how it works. Information is being suppressed. That's what it is. Because everyone should know the information your man the YB has just brought to your attention. Should be, in my opinion, in this fight, in AJ versus Usyk, yeah, this really is a top 5 piece of information. How is it not relevant? Usyk got washed and nearly knocked out. If it wasn't for the 16-ounce gloves and 50-ounce headgear, Usyk would have been knocked out cold by a 165 Shawn Porter. And if you know, yeah, Shawn Porter fights at 147. Oops. Shawn Porter's a small 147 in as much as he's about 5'5", soaking wet. How did a 5'5" Don smoke? And don't forget this as well. Shawn Porter's younger than Usyk's. Shawn Porter's like 32, 33 years old. Usyk's is 38 or something. Wow! So don't tell me, OIB, the thing is, Usyk's wasn't old enough. No, Usyk's was old enough, alright. Usyk's was 6'3", and he got his boots smoked by a 5'5", 147 pounder. And to add insult to injury, if you man do the research here, you'll know that you may be wondering, why was Shawn Porter fighting at 165? His dad used to put weights in his shorts in the weigh-in. Why? So that he could get his son to go in there with bigger dudes, because the small dudes couldn't handle his pace. And also to get Shawn conditioned and whatnot. He wanted to challenge his son. Shawn Porter's admitted it. Shawn Porter's never even gone up to 154. Never mind 168 or 160. He's not a 165 pounder. That's why. His dad was putting weights in his boots. Weights in his shorts, rather. So he could test his son. That's how he was fighting at 165. Meanwhile, Keith Thurman, who we now know, is arguably a bigger welterweight, a bigger 147 pounder than Shawn Porter. He was fighting 10 pounds lighter than Shawn. Oops. So your man's Usyk's 6'3", fully fledged cruiserweight, nearly got knocked out with headgear on by a blown up 147 pounder. Wow. And what? It took the YB to bring it to your man's attention. And you think that's just, YB, stop being so, stop thinking everything's oops. Oh, is it not? You know what I'm saying? Is it not all? Is information not being managed then? Because why don't you all know this? And I can't lie to you, yeah. When this first came to my attention, when one of my sleeper cell dons brought this to my attention, yeah, I was shocked myself. I thought, no word of a lie. When this news first came out, people were saying things like, or a few of the goofies were saying, no, it was a different dude. Oops. You've heard it out the horse's mouth. Thanks to the YB. Yeah, ringing up Showtime Shawn Porter and saying, listen, Shawn, obviously it's your man, the YB. The dude who leaks all information. So give me a comment on this Usyk's thing. And boom, what do we know? We know it was the same Usyk's. And it's the thing, all the Usyk's shills, all the Oleksandr Usyk shills, they was big mad. Oh, no, it was a different Shawn Porter. Oh, no, it was a different Usyk. Oh, no, it's a different guy. Oh, oops. Oh, YB, what's this got to do with anything? What's it got to do with anything? What you mean? Your man's Oleksandr Usyk nearly got knocked out by a 147 pounder. That's never not going to be relevant. I'm sorry, it won't ever be. It won't ever not be relevant. Why? Particularly given the environment this news finds us in. YB, what's the environment? Well, I'm glad you asked. The environment is we are receiving information that Anthony Joshua, arguably the best boxing specimen or the best athlete to enter the sport in its whole history, in the last 100 years, is potentially, or there's information to support that Anthony Joshua is planning on running around the place against a man who we now know got his head half knocked off by a 147 pounder with weights in his shorts. Whoa, wow, this is bad. This is super duper bad. Because if I was AJ and I heard this information, wait there a minute, the man I'm about to fight got half knocked out by a 147 pounder, and I'm thinking of going in there and running around and playing touch, but like Ido Portal in the park with Conor McGregor. Rob McCrappen, fix up. What are we doing here? YB's just shown us that Shawn Porter nearly knocked this dude out with headgear on and 50-ounce gloves on. Why are we planning to run around and dance around with this goofy? Let's get this man all the way out of there like Shawn Porter half did. Oops. Do you understand that? Please don't let this fight finish and Shawn Porter have done a better job than AJ did. Because Shawn Porter looks like half of AJ fell off, literally. 2 Shawn Porters works out about an AJ. No joke. 100%. So please don't let me hear on September 29th or whenever it is that, oh, but YB, you know, he got a good points win. Ain't no one trying to watch that. But he really ain't. Because you've heard there, Shawn Porter explain how he nearly knocked Usyk's head right off for him. And Shawn Porter isn't a liar. I've never heard Shawn Porter tell a lie, to be fair. Apart from when it came to fighting Terence Crawford. But either way, in general, Shawn Porter's never lied. I've never heard him brag or lie about anything. Never heard it. If you disagree, show me some evidence of Shawn Porter making things up. Why would he? The facts are, and it's the thing, oh, but YB, he's lying. He didn't nearly knock him out. Well, guess what? The facts are, the event was recorded. And the facts are, Shawn Porter has a recorded win against Usyk. Oops. So even if you don't want to believe out of the horse's mouth that he rocked him, history says Shawn Porter has a win over Oleksandr Usyk. And I'm afraid to break it to you, man, but for me, yeah, if Shawn Porter has a confirmed win over Usyk, I'm prepared to believe out of the horse's mouth that he also, on the way to that win, rocked Usyk. Because why not? He beat him, innit? Many people before today would sit there and tell you Oleksandr Usyk would knock Shawn Porter into next week. Even in the amateurs. Because we've watched videos of Usyk giving Joe Joyce the beats. So most people 24 hours ago would sit there and tell you, listen, it wouldn't even be a fair fight. Now we know Shawn Porter with his... Listen, Shawn Porter's got great tenacity. He loves to get on it. Shawn Porter is what we call, he loves to get on it. He doesn't let things get away from him. He gets on it. Hops right on. Yeah? That's what he does do. And you know what? More than anything, do you know what this proves? This proves that, what do we know? Who are the people, yeah, who have shown good... What's the word? Who are the people who have shown good... or who have put in good performances against Oleksandr Usyk? Who didn't put on a good performance? Tony Belland. He got smoked. But you know what? Let's focus more recently. Chisora, in my opinion, put on a good performance. Why? He had Usyk sweating and blowing. And on the way to the end of that fight, Usyk didn't really do any damage. Chisora said it after the fight. Look at his face. Who do you think lost that fight based on faces? Usyk's face was all sweaty, it was all marked up. Usyk looked goosed. And he even said it after the fight, that was a 3 out of 10 performance for me. Why? Because he got a good whooping. If it wasn't for Eddie Hearn paying the judges off, he would have probably lost, or it would have been a draw. That's a fact. He got a good old GB whooping. Why? It's the style. Usyk does not have the power to keep people off him. It's definitely not a heavyweight. And what do we know? Never mind at heavyweight, we now know that Shawn Porter style of getting on it early and pushing forward, despite the size discrepancy, Oleksandr Usyk would have been 6'3" back then as well. And guess what? Shawn Porter, at 5'5", went in there and got on it. And Usyk got whooped. Couldn't handle the pressure. So this shows you that, oh, YB, all you want to see is see this. All you want to see is see people go to war. No. In this particular occasion, as is the case with the Tyson Fury fight, Fury and Usyk are similar fighters. And how you beat them kind of fighters, just like Alvarez showed, how do you beat a running round goofy? How did Alvarez beat a running round goofy in Billy Ho Saunders? You march forward. And you get on it. And you ride the legs off them. And you hang out the back of them until they can't take no more. Yeah, you put the tip in, and when they can't take no more, they tap out. That's how you beat them dons, them running around goofies. Yeah, you put the tip in early, and then they tap out. Alvarez put the tip in, and he didn't want no more. Billy Ho Saunders didn't want no more. Couldn't take it. Alvarez had rolled the legs off of Billy Ho Saunders. He didn't have no legs left. Yeah, told you before, it was 1750 equestrian style. His legs were all the way burnt out. No doubt. Having said that, we now know the precedent's been set. Never mind size. Size has got nothing to do with this. This just shows you, yeah, that Usyk matches up very poorly against pressure. He don't like it. He don't. You can just watch the Chisora fight. Chisora wasn't even throwing, and Usyk looked gassed from the jump. No word of a lie, yeah. In that first round, watch Usyk's eyes. He looked panicked. He looked like he's seen a ghost. I don't know whether it was the power. I don't know. In my opinion, and from what we know now from Shawn Porter, I believe it was the pressure. And to be fair, anyone who's actually boxed anything, yeah, have someone come running at you. And see, it's just not a comfortable place to be. It's not a comfortable place to be. It's just not. It's not nice having someone pushing up on you. Yeah? It's not nice having some next don trying to split your cheeks for you. It's just not nice. Yeah? 100%. And Usyk, he don't like it. And that's why in the first round he was looking, he's going to watch, no word of a lie, go and watch Usyk's eyes versus Chisora. His eyes are like, oh! Honestly, he looks shocked. He looks scared. He looks nervous. And we now know, never mind size or anything else. Oh, YB, it's because of heavyweight. Oops, was it? Oh, but YB, if it was because of heavyweight, he wouldn't have got whooped and wouldn't have got half knocked out by a 147-pounder who's 5'5". So what this means is, if you go in there, 6'6", 250 pounds, 240 pounds of inside fighting machine, and your elbows are tucked in and your chin's down, like Ugas was. Ugas, I'm going to do a video on this, but Ugas fought Manny Pacquiao, yeah? He didn't take a back step, really. And he weren't taking no shots, because his guard was tight. He went in there and did his job. If AJ goes in there with his guarding nice and tight, like Ugas, and marches forward, Usyk is going to have flashbacks to when Shawn Porter turned him out. That's what's going to happen. The evidence is there now. It's not just because of but YB, Chisora did this because of heavyweight. Chisora did that because of heavyweight. No, it proves now it's about styles. And Usyk does not line up against a style. So for any of you slow or dopey dons who can't read between the lines, in fact, you know what? I'm going to ask you, man. What do you think AJ should do? What do you think this information we've learnt today tells us about the Usyk fight? Does it tell us that, oh, well, because we know Shawn Porter's 5'5", that's a fact. We also know Shawn Porter has a win over 6'3" Oleksandr Usyk at 165. That's a fact, another fact. So what do these two facts tell us? In fact, you know what? I'll tell you what it doesn't tell us. It does not tell us that we should be running around against Usyk. Because there's no way a 5'5" Shawn Porter beat a 6'3" Oleksandr Usyk by running around the place. And in fact, Shawn Porter confirms this because he says, listen, you ain't throwing no right hands. You ain't rocking no one with a right hand. Running around. When you rock someone with a right hand, you're planted. You're marching forward. This ain't no pity-patty ting. This ain't no AJ versus Pulev ting. Shawn Porter got on it early. And that's what Usyk's scared of. The reason Team Usyk have rock hard for AJ at the moment is because of how he's been fighting recently. They see Pulev in there coming forward. They see AJ skipping away from Pulev. And they're basing their strategy on this devolved AJ. I mean, if I was Team AJ, yeah, and I saw this news that Shawn Porter turned Oleksandr Usyk out back in the amateurs, I'd feel embarrassed for anything less than a devastating stoppage. Devastating. I'd feel embarrassed for anything less than... Listen, I told you before, in my opinion, AJ versus Usyk in particular, but even AJ versus Fury, both of them fights, if I was in the camp, we would have a rule. We ain't taking even one back step. Not even one. None. That's the rules. No back steps. And if you disagree, tell me why. Tell me which point ever in a fight against either of them two bums are you going to need to take a back step? For what? Because in my mind, taking a back step against them two trumps implies that they got something to offer, and I don't believe they have. Simple as that. No doubt.